Hello and welcome back to Southwest Scale Modelling. My name is Stuart, and in this video we are going to be looking at compressors for your basic airbrushing. So let's say, for example, you've made a few models and you've used a brush, and you've used the paints provided with the kit, and you're quite happy with what you're doing, and then you think, yeah, maybe it's time to move on and try airbrushing. Now, airbrushing will give you the best paint finish you can possibly get if you do it correctly. And what we're going to do on this video is just go through the basic airbrush compressor. This is how I've done it, and this is just my opinion, but it served me well over a number of years, and I think it would serve you well as well. So this is your basic airbrush compressor. You get online, get it from eBay, for example. I think it retails for about £50–60, but it does the job quite nicely. As you can see, you've got the actual compressor on the top, and obviously the air tank on the bottom. Now, the important thing about having an air tank is it's a store of air. It will give you a better finish because you've got a store of air at a constant pressure, and the motor and the actual compressor will not be working all the time that you're using the airbrush. You can actually buy a version of this compressor which does not have the tank, it just has the top, and essentially when you pull the trigger on the airbrush comes on, the motor sounds, and you let go and it stops. But it's generally considered better to have a store of air because it's less work for the motor, and also gives you just a better result all over. Now, this particular one, I don't know if you can see it. Let's turn it around to get rid of the glare. Probably can't see it on the camera. This one is called a model number AS186. Now, you can get this off eBay. You can even buy it with an airbrush and some airbrush cleaning tools and some bits and bobs, and if you can find it for a good price, go for it because it will do you well. So basic features of the actual compressor itself. You've got obviously the tank we just talked about. This one has got, not this one in particular, but you get this airbrush with a regulator to control your air pressure, and also a moisture trap in the bottom, because it depends on the climate that you live in, and if you're in the UK, the air is quite damp most of the time, and you need something just to extract that moisture from the air before it gets into your airbrush, and it could cause you problems with your painting. Now, you may notice on this one here, which I'll show you in a minute, that is your moisture trap there with your regulator and the rest of it, but we'll go through that in a moment. This is just a basic one I've bought off online, and this is just a regulator, and you will notice also there's a pressure gauge there, so you can set your pressure. So you can set your airbrush to run off different pressures. A higher pressure give you more, a greater rate of paint, but generally speaking, I don't look at the pressure gauge, I just go by sound. So if anything, a moisture trap is more important for me than a pressure gauge, but we'll come on to that in a minute. So bonus for this one, okay, like that is, pick it up, you can carry it with one hand, nice little carry handle. It's got some rubber feet as well, because these things can jump around a bit, obviously with the movement of the motor, and if it's on a hard work surface it can make a bit of noise, so these rubber feet are there for what you need. It's also got a little drain plug. If you may see this thing here, you unscrew that after you've been using the compressor for a bit to drain out any moisture which may collect in the tank. So too much moisture in here will rot the inside of the tank inside out, and then you'll be finding that the compressor won't hold its air, and you'll have to buy a new one. One thing to note with this particular compressor is that I had this for about a year, 18 months, and it worked absolutely fine. Then I started to notice that the actual air pressure wasn't building up as fast as it did before, and then it got to a point where it wouldn't build at all. I took the thing apart because there was no guarantee left on it, and I was just curious. And actually inside here, you take the top off, there's some Allen key screws there. You take this off and there's like a seal which goes up and down on the piston. Part that had rubbed away. Now, it took some finding, but I managed to find a company on eBay which would sell the actual compressor ring itself, 99p for the actual compressor ring, and about £6 postage from Germany. But what happened was it repaired the thing, and it works brilliantly now. So let's switch it on, and you'll probably find, you'll see the bonus of this particular compressor right now. So turn it on. It's nice and quiet. So if you've got family, you could potentially get a bit annoyed by the sound it's making, vibration, etc. This is lovely. So I'll just turn it off. nice and quiet. The other feature of this compressor is also got an auto start, auto stop feature. So when the compressor gets filled up with the correct pressure, the motor will stop. You'll use your airbrush, and then once the pressure gets below a certain amount, it will come back in and it will top the pressure back up again and put all the pressure back into this tank. So all in all, it's a good starter compressor, and it was probably serve you well for your modelling career, but you may have to get parts for it. Again, you do get a parts breakdown brochure, you know, with the compressor, but bear in mind these are made in China, I think, and you know, getting the spares could be a bit tricky. But apart from that one little O-ring, it's run flawlessly, and I'd highly recommend it. So let's just put this one out the way just for the moment, and then go on to something a bit bigger. Let me just move this into the camera. Right, again, believe it or not, this is a mini compressor as well. This one's called a Wolf Cub from the actual label, and you can actually see it says 6 litres. That's 6 litres of stored air in here. Okay, so this is your compressor, this is your store. Again, with like the other one, you've got the auto start, auto stop feature. It comes with a standard regulator on the top, but I also added this moisture trap onto the actual side of it to, you know, get rid of any moisture that potentially get in your airline. And it also comes with another pressure gauge, so you've got 2 pressure gauges for, you know, for your money basically. There is a bit more maintenance to do on these compressors, because you actually add oil. You get a small tub of oil, which comes in the kit, and you pour it into this little spout here. So you undo the actual cap, pour your oil in, and there's a little marker on the side, and you go to halfway up on the marker. Think about it as like, you know, putting oil in a car. You know, it needs to be filled to the right level, and you need to check the level on occasion. I've had this for nearly 18 months, and I've not had to top the oil up. Actually, it's still there. Again, this also comes with a moisture drain, like a water drain sump on the bottom, and do this screw and drain this down whenever you can do it. It says once a week on the label. I've been a bit naughty, I didn't do this for several months, but this will make your compressor tank last longer, get rid of the excess moisture in there. Okay, so this is a bit more substantial than what you've got. It's got 6 litres like we said before. There is one slight disadvantage, and that's this. Yeah, it's loud, but it does give you a greater store. It does charge itself quicker, and it's actually really good value for money. This whole compressor was the same price as what I paid for the other one. Okay, so which one of the 2 you go for is entirely up to you. They do exactly the same job. This one has got a greater store of air. There is a bit more maintenance involved, and it is loud. So if you've got it up in an upstairs room, for example, and you don't want to annoy family members, you're probably better off going for the other one. But these 2 compressors will do everything you could possibly need for your airbrushing, and I've been using this one for like 18 months, and I've got no reason to change it. Where I keep it, noise isn't a problem, and I think it'll serve you well. But those 2 compressors will be all you ever need for airbrushing, and I hope this has been a helpful video for you. If there's any questions, please leave the questions in the comments, and see you next time.